Entrepreneurially Thinking is a presentation of BioSTL and CET, Center for Emerging Technologies, with RareGem Productions, changing the way you view new ventures, including you on the pathway to success with your business in the St. Louis marketplace and beyond. Here's your hosts, Cheryl and Christy. Now let's get thinking entrepreneurially.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurially Thinking podcast. Our goal is to energize your entrepreneurial mindset and create pathways for business success in the St. Louis marketplace and beyond. I'm Christy Maxfield, Director of Entrepreneur Development Services at the Center for Emerging Technologies.
And I'm Cheryl Watkins-Moore, Director of Bioscience and Entrepreneurial Inclusion for BioSTL. Hey, Christy.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am well, and we are coming back from break, so excited to get back in the groove of things.
It has been a long break, obviously, but a good break.
Oh, it's been beautiful.
So excited about our new guests.
I know.
Oh, wow.
So this is a podcast that's all about stepping outside of your comfort zone. We encourage you to carve out some time to think about your opportunities and business goals in new ways. And we want to peel back any of those limitations you might be putting on yourself about how you think about small business, working for yourself, being entrepreneurial right where you are.
And step out of your comfort zone. We do it every week.
Right. So instead of, New Year's resolutions that probably won't last, if you can just commit to stretching with us, we won't leave you alone, we promise.
Yes.
We think that one's something that you can sustain throughout the entire year. Mm-hmm. So you can stay connected to the Entrepreneurially Thinking community on all of your favorite streaming platforms. You can connect on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or simply visit our website at entrepreneuriallythinking.com. Follow the hashtag ETHINKSTL.
You know, I love the way when you talked about New Year's resolutions, because I think that most people say that you're going to break them by February, right?
Yeah, if you make it that long.
Well, I think that we have a New Year's resolution. We're trying to bring you guys some really exciting, energizing guests, and I'm so excited today. A few weeks ago, Christy and I spent a few hours talking with Stacey Fowler from SLATE and Kevin Wilson from the SBTDC, and we'll go into what that means, and quickly came to the conclusion that we had to have them on the show.
No doubt.
We laughed a lot. We took a ton of notes. You won't believe the golden opportunities to get training, tap new talent, pursue your startup dream. So much to talk about.
Yes.
So we brought Stacey and Kevin into the studio to revisit some of that magic and share some of the best kept workforce development and employer business owner secrets in St. Louis with all of you guys. We'll get to that conversation just after this quick break.
Now here's Make It Happen with Keith Sales Pro.
Have you ever wondered why you keep getting passed over for job promotions or management opportunities? Here are 5 tips to management. Number 1, your attitude. Your attitude will determine your altitude and how far up you will go. Number 2, your work ethic. Are you willing to work 12, 14-hour days, nights, weekends, and holidays? Number 3, your teamwork skills. Do you get along with your coworkers, management, and customers? Number 4, your leadership skills. Do you possess the ability to get people excited about an idea or plan? Can you start a project and see it through? And last, number 5, your education level. I believe the more you learn, the more you earn. Be a life learner. Today, remember, it can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
Follow Keith Sales Pro on Facebook or Twitter at Keith Sales Pro, or visit his website at keithsalespro.com.
It can happen. It will happen. And together, we will make it happen.
My name is Stacey Fowler. I'm from SLATE. And what entrepreneurial thinking to me is blowing the box up and rebuilding it.
Thanks for joining us, Stacey and Kevin. We are so glad to get you back together. I knew that we would be laughing a lot, and I knew that we would be having a lot of fun. And we always take a little bit of time before we get taping, recording, to spend some time with our guests. And frankly, it's already off to a fabulous start. So I'm so glad you could come back together. I feel like we've gotten the old group back.
Exactly. Right.
We're here all week, right?
Exactly.
The band is back, and the
mojo is flowing.
Mojo is flowing.
Going.
Right. Totally. And so we want to get the conversation started. And really, Stacey, if you could get the ball rolling for us by telling us about yourself and about SLATE, and then we'll ask Kevin to do the same.
Sure. So, my name is Stacey Fowler. I am the Office of Innovation and Industry Engagement Manager at SLATE, and I run that department. My department has 4 areas that we concentrate on, which is our Construction Intake Center, of course, entrepreneurship.
Of course.
Of course. And we do grants, and we do public-private partnerships. And, that's very vague, and people are like, what does that mean? Right. So let's just start with the Construction Intake Center. Any projects that are $1 million or more in the city that receive any type of incentive from the city of St. Louis, SLATE is responsible for monitoring workforce development goals of apprentice, women, minorities, and city residents working in the construction side of those jobs.
Right. So we'll see those reports, and that's how we know who's working where and doing what.
And who's doing a good job of being inclusive in their workforce.
Fabulous.
And so we're responsible for monitoring what they call certified payroll, and we do this in partnership with SLDC, who's responsible for monitoring the enterprise side of it, which is MWBE and MBE.
Those are what are those acronyms stand for?
Right. Women business owners and minority business owners.
Right. Fabulous.
And so we do this in partnership with those contractors and developers that are doing these projects in the city.
Now, is that tied into your apprentice, which was one of your other?
It is tied into when you hear the word apprentice, you immediately think construction. Mm-hmm. So, yes, under the CIC, we do that with a pre-apprenticeship program called BUD, Building You University, for those individuals who want to get into the construction field, but not quite sure. So it's kind of what I call a construction exploration program, because you actually get to do hands-on with the various construction building trades. We do this in conjunction with the construction building trades. We do this with United Way. We have several different partners, MSD, who work with us to help individuals get into the construction field.
Fabulous.
So they could start their own construction business.
They could start their, yes, they could own the entrepreneurs. I mean, so it all kind of is interconnected.
Yeah.
But then we have gotten a special grant, which is one of our pillars, where we're actually taking that apprenticeship model into other industries.
Yeah, I noticed on your website, advanced manufacturing, healthcare,
IT, early childhood education. So we're using that same earn and learn model that the that the construction field has been using for years, and putting it into other industries. And that is really beginning to help businesses build a pipeline. And it's also allowing people to get away from that train and pray model of training and now what happens.
Right.
Now, the way the process is set up, you kind of already know who you're going to be working for, because some of the models, the employers hire you day one as you start the apprenticeship, or you do what they consider to be a pre-apprenticeship, and they're working with several employers, and then when you're ready to do your hands-on, then you're getting hired with those various companies. And so you have a classroom component to this apprenticeship process, but then you have your hands-on where there's actual dollars while you're continuing to learn how to do that job.
So they're getting paid. It's not just go to school and hope to get paid years down the line.
And you have your job already. You're already working in it as you're learning and becoming what they consider to be a journeyman for that particular position.
Wow. I love that. That's very interesting.
And I was going to say, I really love the fact that it's not just construction, and that you're tapping into the high-tech areas that, especially in our market, in the St. Louis market, the whole innovation and high-tech areas.
Cybersecurity, bio. We're looking at everything. We're having conversations with all types of employers from all different industries. They're beginning to look at what they do differently, which requires the Workforce Development Agency to look at what we do differently.
So in 2017, guys, if you're out there and you're looking for an opportunity, here is a great opportunity to learn something new. If you're in a job that you don't like, or you want to explore another opportunity for a skill, this is a great opportunity to not only explore that skill, but get paid and find a job afterwards. Right?
But also, if you're an employer or a burgeoning employer or entrepreneurs who are looking to grow, this would be a way to also tap into talent.
It is. So, it really is. And the way the process is set up, you the apprenticeship process requires you to have progressive wages. So you don't necessarily have to start everybody out at $50 an hour. Maybe they come in and they're making $12 an hour and they work their way there as they become better at what they're doing.
Fantastic.
Great.
We love that.
Yes.
And now you also mentioned that you had a partner in that work, and you also have a partner in that in the entrepreneurship work as well.
Yes, that partner, of course, is the SBDC, which is Kevin, and we have other partners, which is SLDC, and
oh my God,
we have
all these acronyms.
I know.
ABC, SDC.
It's our world.
Explain it to us. Explain it to us.
So SLDC is St. Louis Development Corporation. Of course, the SBEC is the Small Business Empowerment Center, and then our third partner is the Legal Services of Eastern Missouri.
Okay.
So
we've come, and of course SLATE. Which is St. Louis Agency on Training and Employment. We have all come together to figure out, how do we help individuals start their business? How do we help displaced or dislocated workers really quickly get back into the field because they already have these skills and they don't want to do it for anybody else now. They want to do it for themselves.
So I wanted to connect a few dots here because we've used, as you said, a few acronyms.
Sure.
So Kevin, can you frame for us, first of all, SBTDC, but also the St. Louis Empowerment Center and how those all are complementary of one another, and, connect some dots for us. Right. You're really good at that.
Okay,
right.
Absolutely. So I'm Kevin Wilson, Regional Director of the Small Business Development Center here in St. Louis, which is also known as the Small Business Technology and Development Center. So the SBDC is a national program funded by the Small Business Administration, or SBA.
Yes.
Another
I love
acronym.
it.
Right.
And so the SBA and the University of Missouri partner to proliferate or franchise SBDCs here in Missouri. You'll find an SBDC in every state of the country, in Guam and Puerto Rico.
Awesome.
And so I manage these centers here in St. Louis. So the SBDC here in St. Louis, we partner with a lot of different organizations, whether that is the St. Louis Agency for Training and Employment,
Yes,
or the St. Louis Development Corporation. We're actually co-located in the same building with them to provide them with services, provide their constituents with services, and to kind of make it bring some continuity there.
I was going to say, so it's seamless.
Absolutely. So, entrepreneurs come into the system and don't know who does what, but they just need the services. And
and they don't really care who does what, right?
No,
Absolutely.
they just want it.
We got to just make it really easy for them to get what they need.
Absolutely. So we're trying to create kind of a one-stop, one door where they can walk in and they say, hey, I can get access to employment services, I can get access to entrepreneurship services, or working capital. So the partnership between SLDC, SBDC, and SLATE is that kind of partnership to help people get in, get what they need, and move on.
That's great.
So how does a empowerment center differ, complement, same, different,
So the SBEC is our partnership that it is our organization, our nonprofit that we put together to partner together. And so it is very difficult for a lot of different organizations to, with all our different rules, come together. And so the Small Business Empowerment Center is really our vehicle, if you will, that we all partner together. And so we
and
can
write grants.
write grants together and things like that. And so we kind of come up with some unique vehicles to help us implement programs.
Oh, I love that, because that's entrepreneurial. So you identified that one of your hurdles was that as government and quasi-government organizations, you got some limitations.
Absolutely.
Right? But as a nonprofit, combining your efforts, creating a new governance structure, creating a new corporation. I'd love that. I mean, I just got to connect that dot for people that, like, instead of seeing all those things as reasons you couldn't work together, you really figured out using a business structure,
Absolutely,
how you can move forward with that. So I think that in and of itself is an important learning for all of us.
It helps us supersede all our rules.
Entrepreneurial thinking.
It is entrepreneurial. I mean, really, like we always say, you want to be entrepreneurial where you are. And what does that mean, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like, we've never created X before. How do we create X? And So tell me how you create new things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you crowdsource it? Do you call all your friends and get everybody's opinion and pick the one you like? Do you go in a room and spend 20 hours thinking about it and come out with it? Do you run from it? Pretend like it's not there? Like, people deal with ambiguity in different ways. And if you're going to stretch that muscle of thinking entrepreneurially, we're going to encourage you to find whatever team, tribe, resource, or inspiration you need to find new ways forward.
And I think if government institutions
can do it, kids, come
anybody can do it.
Absolutely.
So
That's what my department is all about. It is really about creating opportunities. When you think of workforce, you're just thinking of coming and getting a job. But when you start meeting employers where they are and meeting customers where they are, there's such different dynamics. And so employers have skill gap issues with their staff and folks that they're trying to bring on. So we're looking at how do we take workforce and be creative and use that entrepreneurial thinking process to create processes and programs that will help them find the right employees.
Well, can you give us an example of startup maybe organizations? You talked about corporates that you work with to help them solve their business issues. Can you give us examples of maybe a startup company that you guys have worked with to help them build their organization?
Sure. We've worked with, in our partnership with SLATE, we've worked with all types of businesses, from construction to daycares to IT to the new trend on floating. So, they
float trips.
No, those sensory deprivation.
I heard about
yes.
That.
Pods. So,
right.
We've talked about this.
Right.
Yes, we have. See, I'm still on vacation.
Cheryl's not a fan of sensory deprivation. It kind of scares her a little.
No.
I heard it's quite
but
elevating.
It's a great business plan, and it's a great business trend.
Absolutely, and it's just now getting here to St. Louis. So it's the types of businesses that come through our doors has been amazing.
That's wow.
Yes.
That's different.
We were just getting kind of lifestyle businesses, but now we're starting to get all types of innovative thinkers coming through the doors, and they are taking advantage of the opportunity.
That's great.
When we say they're taking advantage of the opportunity, what does that look like? Because I know, did they come in through the micro-enterprise pitch? Or
no, actually they come in because they want to start their business. And so the services that we provide for them at SLATE is they have an ideal, but they really don't know what their next steps are. So we sit down and we provide one-day workshops to get them on the process of what does it really take to start a business? What does that look like to really be a legal business entity in the state of Missouri? Then once they've done that, we work with them to put a business plan together.
That's great.
Then once they put their business plan together, they do what fast track, which is a kind of feasibility type plan. And now they're looking at competition. They're looking at a whole bunch of other things in terms of really, is this feasible? I think I want to do this. I think this is how I can do it. But can I really do it?
Right.
And then working with Kevin and his shop, they're looking at funding. They're looking at all those things to really see if they can make that business viable in this space and in this market.
So they might have started with a $1,000 micro-enterprise loan gift,
right? Sure.
Underwriting through the work you're doing, and gone on to get a $1 million business loan from a local bank.
Yes,
absolutely.
Right.
Exactly.
Like that actually happened.
Exactly.
Right.
It is.
It is. It's possible because even once they've done all of that, then we have the micro enterprise competition that we do with the individuals that have come through, and basically it takes them to the next level where they're learning how to pitch their business, where they're learning how to talk about people, and what are they doing and how they're going to do it, and present, because you have to be able to present the business along with pitch the business.
Absolutely.
And so then that's the competition, and whoever wins, we give them some startup dollars.
Well, I think what's interesting is you're giving them the skills and the tools that not only can they be successful with your organization, but when they branch out and go into the further of the St. Louis regional ecosystem to get further follow-on funding, they've gotten the basics from you. And hopefully they can now, get into our ecosystem and maybe go for an Arch grant.
This is true.
Go for,
Absolutely.
a Billiken Angel investment opportunity.
Right. We're trying to get them all set up and ready to go. But the other side of this is it also really shows them are they that entrepreneurial type person? Are
Right.
they thinking entrepreneurially? Are they doing the things that an entrepreneur would do to be successful?
Yep.
And it requires a commitment on their part
Yes.
because nobody's going to stand over them and say, hey, work on your business plan. Get this stuff done.
Self-motivation's key.
Exactly. So you begin to see, are you one of those people? And it shows in their presentation,
Absolutely.
in their preparation. And so you're grading and you're saying, hey, you missed the boat here, here. Or no, you're right on point. You know.
And, we've seen in the Square One program where folks come back to us and say, you know what, now that I know what it's going to take,
Right.
This actually isn't for me.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
either I don't have the stomach for this, or,
I'm not a risk
frankly,
taker.
this is
Right.
not burning a deep enough hole in my soul for me to do
Right.
this. But
Right.
now, when I find the thing that does, I'll know what I need to do to take it forward. So I love that part. We also often talk about persevering, pivoting, or perishing, and that all those are acceptable outcomes
It
if
is.
you've learned how to validate your
Exactly.
opportunities.
Absolutely. And I always look at it, it's not a loss
It's not.
because you've learned something. And I love the fact that you all, it's the earn to play. It's the earn to
learn.
Yeah.
Earn
type
and
of-
learn versus train and pray.
Exactly.
You got it. You got it.
Exactly.
Prayer is not a strategy for things like jobs and fundraising. It's a strategy for other. It's a nice enhancement, but it's not actually a strategy.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take another quick break, and I want to sort of shift gears a little bit. And we've got a lot of established companies in our region who are very excited about working with NGA in particular. And I know Kevin has some thoughts on this, and we want to just sort of spend a little time talking about what that opportunity might mean and how SLATE as well as SBTDC will
Fits
be
in,
part
yeah.
of that equation of success.
Yeah.
Meet the ambassadors.
It really is about shifting the perspective of how we see our fellow humans. When I interact with somebody who I'm not entirely sure what's going on behind their behavior, to having more compassion as I'm interacting with them. And I think that it's so important that no matter what the profession is that you are in, as long as you're interacting with people, this information is going to be very valuable.
Take 5. Log on to aliveandwellstl.com.
I'm Kevin Wilson, part of America's Small Business Development Center. And entrepreneurial thinking, to me, is you have comfort with risk. You are creative and innovative and have the ability to recognize opportunity.
So we're back with Stacey and with Kevin, and we've just spent a lot of time talking about individuals who are coming in. They think they might want to be an entrepreneur, they're looking to expand their skill set, joining some apprentice programs, or we've got individuals who need workforce and can use apprentice and on-the-job training opportunities at SLATE to enhance that capability. But one of
the fact too that you're drawing in the corporates, they're being a part of this whole equation.
Absolutely.
And I think before we jump into
Sure.
that spot, I think that's a great opportunity for young companies to really partner with some of these other companies, to find more established companies, to find out what are their needs.
Right.
How can they fill those those needs, not just from an apprenticeship perspective, but new technology and everything else. So hopefully that's also something that you guys.
We're always putting people together.
That's great.
It just, and I'll give you a good example. CVS, national company, is going to start doing pharmaceutical, pharmacy tech apprenticeship program.
Oh, wow.
Well, there are several training providers out here that provide that training. So we're trying to connect. So we're not trying to recreate. We're just trying to be better at what we do. So the Job Corps is like, how do I connect with CVS and get our graduates in? So we've worked out a process today on how we're going to try to connect them. They're making calls, and we're trying to make this. So, we're not trying to recreate. If that training is great, here's an opportunity for you to go through this process, because the way CVS is doing their apprenticeship, you're hired day one when you start.
Wow.
So you already know who you're working for.
And I think that's really cool for if you're a young company, and if you guys are looking at yourselves as SLATE as the great connector. opening up doors for young companies with new technologies is also another opportunity. I think that you can certainly provide. I don't know if you're doing this now or not, but there's a lot of companies here with new technologies that are looking for opportunities to get in front of some of these companies. And I think that SLATE can certainly play a huge role in that.
All they have to do is call us. I can't make promises. I can't tell you yes. I can't tell you no.
Right.
But, you just never know how we can connect them, because we believe in working with the regional chamber.
Right.
They're our partners. And then on our workforce board, we have several employers out of the community that basically provide support and services to us by working on the, assisting us on the board. So we would love to make those connections, because that helps our whole region.
And one of the things, so we are all accustomed to having an app or an email address or a website to go to so that we can make those connections. One of the things about SLATE is that you really do need to pick up the phone and give Stacey a call. There are so many moving parts in what they do. There's so many different constituencies that they're trying to serve that it would be impossible for them to populate a website with all the things. So just because you don't see it there doesn't mean it's not happening, right?
Exactly.
So call Stacey.
And we're not going to give you her phone number until the end of the podcast.
That's right, because we want to keep you hanging on.
There you go.
So, CVS is a great example. I kind of of you guys as you're listening. You're listening to the community, and as the
employers,
and having that finger on the pulse of what's going on, you're really getting the two sides of that equation. And I jokingly say, NGA's name is taken in vain at every 30 minutes in this town now. It's gonna be mentioned every fourth. Yeah, when in doubt, NGA can solve all things, all times. I know, guys. I know you can't.
Just like prayer.
There's a lot of prayer, and there's a lot of NGA in prayer right now.
Yes.
Right. Dear Lord, please let the NGA know that I'm out here. Right.
Touch me, NGA.
Yes. Yes. And so that's probably not a great strategy, but what could be a good strategy, one of my favorite words too, is that we've got folks like this listening to the community, talking to NGA, and who actually know. I mean, you get into a whole nother realm. Like, how do you do business with CVS? There's one way to do business with CVS. Doing business with the federal government is a thing unto itself.
It is.
Absolutely.
And I got an amen from the room.
Yeah,
so, so if you guys could both, I'm not sure who wants to take this, but the idea that if I already know that I've got something, whether it's I could be part of the construction of the new building, or I could help clean the new building once it's made, or I could help do the geolocation type of work that they're doing, or goodness, I don't even know all that NGA does, but I know there's people sitting all around the city going, either I could, can, or want to work with you in some way because I've got a product, service, or capability that I think would be a good
technology.
fit.
They're looking for innovative technologies too.
I have a feeling that I just can't go knock on NGA's door and make a lot of headway. So how do I make headway? I got this smile from Kevin like, no, dear, that's not how it works. So how does it work?
It's a great question. We've I think I hear NGA at least once a day,
right?
Sometimes
at least
twice. Absolutely.
Right.
So, the NGA right now is in this two phases. Is the clearing the land first, phase one, and then phase two is actually building it.
Right.
And so phase one, there's going to be all this. It's going to be really construction oriented. So, what small business owners should look for is city certification. They go through Lambert Airport, the SBDC, and our sister organization, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, can help small business owners with that certification and also identifying those opportunities.
Okay.
So that phase one, very intense, but actually a smaller part of it, I think, is only about $42 million, I believe.
Only $42 million.
Only $42 million.
Oh, okay.
I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of that.
Right.
No wonder we're taking their name.
I know. Phase two is $1.7 billion.
Okay, by comparison, I was making fun.
Right.
I've been corrected.
Little fish, big fish. So But phase 2 is actually going to use look at federal certifications, and so
whole nother ball game, not just city,
absolutely,
not just state.
Right.
And so that's where I think is going to be very important for small business owners to understand what those certifications look like and how to go and get them and how to bid on the work. And so you're going to be bidding on the phase 1 through the city's system, and then you're going to be looking at the federal opportunities through the federal stuff. So that's going to be a challenge, and so it's kind of be like shifting gears, if you will. And so I'm encouraging small business owners, entrepreneurs to look at both phases and really kind of play the long game and see how can I fit into phase 2 really, and start working on those certifications now.
Right.
Kevin, do they have that information listed on their website about these different phases and what they're looking for, or is that information part of SBDTC's information?
You're going to find most of that information on NGA's website and the St. Louis Development Corporation's website.
And that's Project Connect.
Project Connect, absolutely.
Great. Good to know.
And the certifications they should start looking for on phase 2 is SBA 8A certification, HubZone certification, disabled veteran certification, and the women-owned service business certification. So those, federal contractors, they're going to work for the agencies are looking to work with small business owners, and so if you can get some of those certifications, or 1 or 2, or small disadvantaged business certification, it gives you a leg up.
Yes.
So they can bid on those contracts, and hopefully, I think those contracts can help those small businesses grow. Even after phase 2, there are going to be other contracts such as cybersecurity. They're going to be looking for innovative technologies. They're going to be looking for products and services, even food service.
Exactly.
So someone is going to be providing coffee and donuts there. So why not your small business? So.
Exactly.
And I think what's so interesting, what you mentioned, is that this dovetails so nicely into our region and our strengths with our accelerators that are here. When you talk about cybersecurity, we have an accelerator program. We've got a bio program. We've got all these different programs. So if you're interested in starting or thinking about a technology or starting your company, this is an opportunity to get involved and then see what the needs are for NGA and how can you fit your business into that type of track.
Absolutely.
Because they've got to, by law, start to engage, like you said, these minority and women businesses, and maybe you can be that subcontract.
Absolutely. Or a prime.
Or a prime.
We'd love to see a prime. But I think the key there is it's not enough to have the right stuff in terms of, because this door doesn't unlock just because you're really good at what you do. This door unlocks when you have the right registrations, certifications,
business licenses,
this is not for this is not for the fly by night. This is for the folks who actually take some time and do that.
Exactly.
And again, like our friends at SLATE, our friends with Kevin's team, this is a phone call. This is a plan, a sit down conversation.
It is.
These are not things you just go on the website and do this, and this, and you're good to go. These are you want people on your side with this, and this isn't just about going in and getting you all registered. It's about having a team that you can go back to. Have those conversations. Like,
Absolutely.
What does phase 3.5 look like?
What does that look like for me?
What does 5 years out look like?
And getting mentoring.
And support. So I just want to make sure that folks realize, I know that we want to just go online, get something done, and be ready.
Down on Broadway and knock on the door. You're not going to get in.
Well, it just won't work
that,
well.
Right, well, and they will. But, the other thing, too, that they need to think about is partnership, because there are opportunities. Sometimes you might be smaller, but if you two come together and build some partnerships, you can go after some things that you might not be able to go after by yourself. So they need to really be thinking about that.
And I think that's where you guys come in, because you're such great connectors, and then being able to provide that insight. If you know of one company and you know of another company, and say, hey, let's put you two together, because the two of you guys are stronger than by yourself, and getting the mentoring support that you offer and our region offers too as well.
Yeah, we don't want this to be a I didn't know how to get there or nobody told me the rules kind of thing. We're trying to tell you the rules. Like we're trying to help you see this opportunity for what it is, which is once in a lifetime in some regards.
It really is.
So, find us. We'll get you to Kevin and to Stacey. Find Kevin and Stacey. They will get to their team members that need to be done. Don't assume just because it's not readily available at your fingertips that the pathway isn't there. And nobody's trying to hide it from you. It's just complicated.
It is. It is. Let's talk about something that's really cool. Okay. Food.
And as our regular listeners know, we love food.
We love food.
So for you food entrepreneurs, the thing I have, frankly, it's all over CET social because I just think this is the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
So there is a fantasy food fair competition that is now open, and I'm going to ask Kevin to share some details with us so that we can.
And Christy and Cheryl want to be judges.
Oh yes, oh yes, particularly for the menu tasting.
Right.
I don't know if that's part of this, but
I'm writing your names down now.
Yeah,
and the wine pairing.
Yes.
Right.
See, we're looking ahead.
There you go. So this the Fantasy Food Fair came out of a conversation the SBTDC was having with Equifax and Rise
partners,
other partners that we work with, and they had some space in Old North St. Louis that was underutilized, and said, hey. While we work together and come up with a plan on getting something creative and innovative in that space. And so out of our conversations came the Fantasy Food Fair. And so we're looking for innovative restaurateurs who are looking for an opportunity in Old North St. Louis to put a restaurant concept there that we think could be sustainable and can grow and create some jobs in the area.
There's money.
There is money.
Almost more importantly, we love money, but what we really love about this is that money food. Money comes along with a fully equipped restaurant space.
Which is unheard of.
Yes. Unheard of.
Yes.
I've heard that maybe you have to buy the stove, but wow.
Right. Right. So, for details, people can go to our website, which is www.fantasyfoodfair.com. But to go over what the prize is there's a 2-year rent commitment reward, so they don't have to pay rent in this space for 2 years, nicely outfitted commercial kitchen, a restaurant mentor will be assigned to them, one-on-one collaboration to discuss the restaurant's current and desired brand image, logo, postcard, and business card design and redesign with firecracker press, which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
An advisory board would be put together for them. They will get workforce support from SLATE and from Equifax. Website design and possible contracts, catering contracts from places like Equifax.
Well, most certainly a table for four on opening night with Cheryl, Christy, and their significant other.
Exactly.
And I think we should broadcast our show from.
Sounds good to us. On the opening.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is so let it be.
Loving this.
So let it be.
It's all entrepreneurial thinking.
I know. I love it.
And for all of you folks that are burgeoning restaurateurs, this is a phenomenal opportunity. First of all, you don't pay rent for 2 years. That is amazing.
I'm going to cooking school tomorrow.
Yeah, because my eggs and bacon ain't gonna happen. But I'm like, you guys can focus on really what you do.
Yep.
Right.
Instead of having to focus on the administrative side, you can really focus on growing a strong restaurant business.
And if restaurants aren't your thing, that's okay, because you should still keep track of what's going on through SBA and SBTDC, because there's Innovate Her, which is another national competition.
Yes.
There's going to be another thing going on based in Old North that has more of a social enterprise bent to it.
Yes, we do the World Startup Cup there.
World Startup Cup.
Wow.
So there's things to keep your eye on here. So on that note, I knew we were going to get to the end of our time before we were really ready to say goodbye. But we are getting there. So now what you have been waiting for is how to get in touch with these folks. So, Stacey, can you tell us, where do we call? Where do we go? What do we do?
Sure. Okay, so SLATE is located at 1520 North Market Street. We are on the 3rd floor in the Abrams building. My department, of course, is called the Office of Innovation and Industry Engagement. Our direct phone number is 314-657-3513. Our website is www.stlworks, that is with an S.com. And my email for you to contact me directly is specialprojects@stlworks.com.
Fantastic.
Special projects at stlworks.com.
Great. And Kevin, where do folks find you?
We're actually located in the same building as SLATE, and so that's easy, just on the 2nd floor. Our direct number is area code 314-657-3768, and our website is www.missouribusiness.net.
Perfect.
Wow, this
Wonderful.
is great.
Well, thank you again for joining us. It is always a pleasure.
Always
Thank you
a pleasure.
so much
So
for
much fun.
having us.
It's fun.
Yes.
And
Bring
as
us back
things
again.
progress, we've got lots of things to talk
We're
about.
gonna
So
be
I think
bringing
we
you back.
might
Right.
in fact have to have a follow-up conversation from the restaurant space in North St.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'd love that. That'd be fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you
Wonderful.
guys so much.
Thank you.
Changing the way you view new ventures, igniting your thinking about entrepreneurship. It's entrepreneurially thinking. Get connected and discover more. Visit our website for show notes, resources, information about our guests, upcoming events, and of course, all your favorite episodes. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them for us in the comment sections, and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. The best way to show love is to share. Let everybody know that you're thinking entrepreneurially. So visit our website, entrepreneuriallythinking.com. #ETHINKSTL. Entrepreneurially Thinking is another positive production of RareGem Productions. Thanks for listening.